Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Planet Expression. Just in case you forgot, here's your reminder. You have a body, but you are not the body. You have a mind, but you are not the mind. You are spirit, and there is no need to fear it. I'm Expression, and I'm simply here to express nothing more, nothing less. I hope y'all are doing well, and let's tap or jump right into this week's topic, which is all about fated meetings. Do you believe in fated meetings? And I'm going to tell you why I chose this topic because a situation happened today that reminded me of many other situations that has happened in the past, but it's been a while since something like this has happened. I want you to ask yourself, do you believe in fated meetings, meaning things are destined to happen? Now, before we jump into the topic, I want you to consider the definition of two words, okay? And those two words are number one, predestiny, and number two, synchronicity. Now, I feel that these two combined together is what you can say fated meanings are about because when you look at the definition, let's start with synchronicity, and I wrote them down, okay? So, the definition of synchronicity is the simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. In other words, the occurrence of events that seem completely random, but they are somehow related. Okay? In simple words. And then with predestiny, it is the belief that all events are determined in advance by divine will or fate. Okay? So, with those two definitions cleared and out the way, and please feel free to look these up as well. Okay, I never want you to take my word for anything. All right, these were the definitions that Google gave me. All right, but back to the topic with fated meetings. Let me give y'all some backstory and share exactly what happened. Okay, so let me put my handy dandy book down for a second, and let me explain how this topic came about. So today I'm still in London. If you haven't noticed, okay, I feel like I'm dressed like for the London vibe, if that makes sense, with the jacket and everything. And it's autumn now, so like the colors, you know. Anyways, so what inspired this topic in particular is today. I woke up and I don't have any plans. I didn't have any plans for today, none at all. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do today. So what I did was I left my accommodations and I walked for maybe like 5 minutes and I just saw an empty bench. I saw an empty bench and I took out my notebook. Not this notebook. I have another notebook that I keep in my back pocket that I actually haven't used until today, this one. And funny enough, it says London. Now, I'm showing you this notebook because this is actually a part of the backstory. I bought this notebook when I was in Tbilisi, Georgia. Okay, if you saw my previous video, then you know that I was in Tbilisi, Georgia for a bit. And I bought this London notebook in Tbilisi, Georgia, not knowing that I would actually end up in London. That's part of the synchronicity, okay? Now, I'm telling you this because let's explain how I got to London in the first place, and this is going to really wrap everything up, okay? So if you got time, relax, because I'm going to take my time. I am not in any rush. As I said, I have no plans today, okay? So stick with me. I promise we are going to get somewhere. So, as I said, I bought this notebook. This I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm kind of far away from the camera. I bought this notebook when I was in Tbilisi, Georgia. Now, how this came about was I was looking for a blender, it was like a water bottle blender, you know, one of those portable travel ones. I found one, but at the store where I bought this notebook, they didn't have one. I thought they did, but I digress. When I was in Georgia, I met a fellow American. She is from the Midwest, actually, and we got very close very fast. Like she was just super cool, and we hung out a few times. And I was just letting her know, like I'm just going with the flow. Like it wasn't my intentions to even be in Georgia. You know, I was in Southeast Asia, and I met like a few people from Georgia when I was in Vietnam. You know, and they were like, "You should check out Georgia." And how that all came about was just like random. seemingly. Okay, so anyways, I ended up in Georgia, and this is how I met my current the friend I'm talking about now from the Midwest. But we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I'm not sure like how much longer I'm going to be staying in Georgia. I'm not sure, like, if I'm going to be like staying here, because I was thinking about moving there and living there, but I wasn't really connecting with the people in the way that I wanted to, and the way that I thought I was going to, like how I normally do with whatever place I go to. So I was just like, okay, I don't think this is my vibe. And also, I kept getting sick while I was in Georgia. Like, literally, I caught a cold 4 times while I was in Georgia, and I was like, I really catch a cold. Some years I don't even catch a cold, but I caught a cold 4 times, and I was there for 2 months. Okay, like I just kept getting sick while I was there. So I was like, okay, maybe this is just a sign that it's just not for me, because there's no way. And even she agreed. She was like, like some just don't seem like, I don't think this is the place for you, even though she loves Tbilisi, Georgia. Um, but I was like, yeah, well, I think I might just go back to the US. I've been gone for like close to 7 months now, so I think it's about time. She was like, I think that's a smart idea, but if I were you, I would go to London, or like the UK or whatever. But she said London in particular. Now, I'm telling you this story because before I even met her, I bought this book here. And funny enough, to be honest, I didn't pay attention to what the book said, because my favorite color is blue. So I just saw blue and I bought the book, and it was like super cheap. Like, I had no intentions of like visiting London. It was just a book, a small portable book that I like, and I like the color. And it just so happened to say London. Another one had Tokyo on it, if I'm not mistaken. But I just liked it because I also saw the full moon, and I was like, ooh, this is so cool. All right. Now, this was like 2 weeks or like a week and a half before I actually met the girl I'm telling you about, right? Tell me why, after she said London, I found this notebook like a day after she told me that. And I was like, maybe I should go to London. And I lie to you not, ever since I had the idea, maybe I should go to London, I kept seeing London on people, like the logo of like London on people's shirt, on their bags. I would walk by a store, and all of a sudden it would say like London. And like I just kept seeing London every fucking where. So I was like, okay, I think I need to go to London, okay? And I was still on the fence whether or not I should like come to London, or whether I should just go back to the US, right? You won't fucking believe what happened. I Googled like flights back to the US and then the flights to London. A flight back to the US from Tbilisi, Georgia was around 600, almost $700. It was like 650. A flight from Tbilisi, Georgia to London was only $130. Can you believe that shit? Can you believe that? It was only $130. I was like, okay, this is a clear sign that I need to go to London, because I feel like Spirit knows that there's certain things that I won't do. Like if it's something that's crazy ridiculous, like the price or whatever, like I just won't go for it. But if it's something that is within my means, or I feel like I can do, then I typically jump on it, right? So that flight alone convinced me this is where I need to be. Even though in my head I'm like, London is expensive as fuck. Like, why would I even go there? I heard it's like more expensive than NYC. Now that is true in some cases, and this is actually the first country where I'm actually losing money. I was just talking to the reception lady about that. I was like, this is a humbling experience, because wherever I go, like the USD is stronger than the currency wherever I'm at. But here, the British pound is stronger than the US dollar. So it's like every time I like spend money here, I'm technically losing money, because I'm like, oh my god, like, so it's a humbling experience. It really is, but it's not like as expensive as I thought it was going to be, even though I know it could be. But it's still pretty expensive, okay? But anyways, I'm tying this in because today, as I said, well, I'm here in London now. That's just the backstory of how I got to London and why I came in the first place. I literally have no plans while I'm here, like none at all. I'm just going with the flow and following the signs, right? I lied to you not, and I'm going to show you guys what I wrote today. I Because remember I said I walked maybe like 5 minutes, and then I like sat on an empty bench or whatever, like 5 minutes away from my accommodations. And this is what I wrote. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says, I'm here in London. Now what? Thank you. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. Okay, I hope y'all saw that. Okay, and I have the date and everything. So October 2nd, the 25th. I lie to you not. After I wrote this, I got the idea to go to a coffee shop. Now, mind you, there are many coffee shops near my accommodation, like literally like a 2 to 3 minute walk. But for some particular reason, because I went on Google Maps to look for the coffee shops, for coffee shops near me, for some particular reason, there was one it was about a 15-minute walk from where I was. Like, why would I consciously choose to go to that one? I was like, well, you know what? I want to explore the neighborhood a bit. So I'm going to go to the one that's a bit further, right? Because the other ones were only like 2, 3 minutes away. So I walked to this particular coffee shop. As I said, it took like 15 minutes. It was actually in like a mall that I had no idea about. Okay. I went to the coffee shop or whatever, and literally, as I turned, the book dropped. As I turned around, because I came down the escalator in the coffee shop, it's like situated. I don't. It's not beneath the escalator, but like, let's say you're coming down the escalator, the coffee shop is going to be on the side. So when you come down, you would have to make like a U-turn to get to the coffee shop, because I was following Google Maps at this point and I was walking straight coming off the escalator, and it was like, you need to turn around. And when I turned around, the coffee shop was right there. I walked up to the counter. I was just looking at like the pastries and stuff that they have in the display case. And I lied to you not, as soon as I walked up to look at the display case, there was a woman. I'm going to call her Susanna. Okay? Right now, we met at this cafe actually, which is so cool. This one right here, Baker's Barista. And it was the most magical experience that I've ever had, because what happened was she and I basically hit it off, and we talked for maybe like 2 hours, but she just gave me so many gems, and we genuinely connected and shared stories, and she just came up to me because she liked my necklace or whatever. And we just started talking, and she just made me realize, look, go where the magic is. Go where the magic is. Cannot make it out. It was so synchronistic because I decided to come to this cafe in particular. I just had an inkling to come to this one. This one's a bit further. It took me like a 15-minute walk to get here. But, right? And she really, like, she complimented my necklace. Like, that's the first thing she looked at. Like, she was like, I really like your necklace or whatever. She made a joke about it, like, I'm gonna have to get you for that necklace. And I was like, oh, thank you, you know. So I just accepted the compliment or whatever. But there was something about this woman. She just seemed very, I don't want to say familiar, because I don't know her from a can of paint. Okay, I don't know anyone here, but she just seemed very genuine. There was something very genuine about her energy, right? And I don't know, like, there was something just very genuine, something very warm about her energy. And normally when someone gives me a compliment, I would just be like, thank you or whatever, I appreciate it, and just keep it moving on about my day. And she was ordering her coffee or whatever, and then I was next in line. And I just told her, yeah, if you want these, then you need to go to Thailand, because this is where I bought the necklace or whatever. I got it when I was in Thailand. So, long story short, or long story long in this case, she ordered her coffee, and then she sat down, and then I ordered my stuff for here as well, because I was like, I don't have any plans. I'm just planning to chill or whatever. So, I sat next to her or whatever. We just like struck up a conversation, and one thing led to another. She was asking, what am I doing here in London? Just being open. Like, we were just completely open with each other. Like, it felt so genuine and authentic. Like, and I just let her know, you won't believe me if I told you how I got here and why I'm here. And she was like, tell me, I got time. We're just waiting on a client or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. So I let her know, that how I gave her some backstory, how I was traveling in Southeast Asia, and then I got to Tbilisi, Georgia, and then how I kept seeing signs about London, and I was like, well, now I'm here. And she was like, I like that. Just going with the flow and not really having any plans. Like, in a long story short, sometimes having a plan is the best plan. So she was like, I like that. You have a very like adventurous spirit or whatever. And we got deeper into, and we had, oh my, we had the most amazing conversation. When I said it was amazing, it was amazing. That's why I'm so inspired to make this video. And I'm going to give you guys some bits and pieces of things that we talked about, but most importantly, I'm going to give you some. I'm going to tell you like two stories in particular that she told me. They're very short stories, so don't worry. But we got to talking, and sorry, I'm trying to recall everything. I'm trying to keep it in chronological order. Let me look at my notebook because I don't want to go off on a tangent because I will. Okay. So, yes, I give you guys the backstory, how I got to the coffee shop and how we connected. And then I guess we should just jump into the story that she shared with me because this is going to lead into why I said faded, excuse me, faded meetings and synchronicities and predestiny. Now, as we got to talking, I just want to let you know she said that I felt that we were supposed to have this conversation, like we were supposed to meet or whatever. And like I said, I normally would accept the compliment and I would just go on about my business, you know, with a smile on my face. But for this particular reason, I just felt extra open and very comfortable with this woman. So, you know, I was like, you know what? I actually believe her, and I like felt the same way, like genuinely. And you know, I started asking her, you know, like, does she believe in, you know, contracts? And when I say contracts, I mean like soul contracts, and like um being that like some people you don't like, nothing really happens by coincidence. You meet people for a reason, right? And sometimes you overhear things for a reason as well. But in this particular case, I feel that you meet hi. You meet people, sorry, there's people behind the camera that y'all can't see. I'm in the park, so they're walking. But anyways, there was a little kid. I think he's Jewish because he has the little thing on his head. So cute. Anyways, back to the story. Um, yeah, I was like, do you believe in like soul contracts? Like, because I've had this belief for a very long time that I feel like before we come here or before we like incarnate physically, I feel like we meet people, or we like, how can I say it? We meet other souls before we actually come to earth, before we, you know, become physical, and we like plan to meet people or have different rendezvous with other people while we're here on earth at different points in our life. Now, this is where I want you to pause and I want you to reflect. I'm going to say that again, and I want you to pause and I want you to reflect, because I really want you guys to think about this, because I feel like you will connect the dots as to what I'm trying to say, or to what I'm saying. I personally have had this belief for a while now that we have contracts with people, or we've made agreements with other souls who incarnate here on earth. That at a certain point in our life, it could be at a certain age, on a certain date, or whatever the case is, we are going to meet each other here on earth, wherever we are, okay? And I feel that those meetings are meant to happen, fated meetings, because in those meetings, I feel like we pass along vital information to help each other on our paths along our journey on earth. And also, like, some people you are actually meant to become like lifelong friends. You guys, like, you know, you meet up at a certain age or at a certain point, and then you just go through life together. And some people, you just have like a short meeting. It's like a one and done. Like, they tell you something very valuable and you never see them again, but you were supposed to meet for that valuable information. Or they were supposed to help you for a certain period of time. Like, maybe you were going through a rough patch and someone, you just met someone randomly or whatever. Let's say you were feeling down and out and you met someone at a park or at a coffee shop or wherever, and little do they know or whatever, which I'm pretty sure they know unconsciously, like, they helped you out, they gave you some advice, or you guys talked and you felt so much better after that and your life got better. There are certain moments where I feel like you're meant to meet people and you guys are meant to have some sort of exchange that's going to be mutually beneficial. And this comes to like the heart of this entire thing with the faded meetings, and like the main message really is just about, I would say, being open, because she she and I were talking about this, how like we live in a world now where most people are like closed off. Everyone is afraid of each other. Like no one even like has the guts or the courage to have a full, or sometimes don't even have the capacity to have like an honest or just like a an authentic connection or just a conversation with a complete stranger. Like we don't know each other from a can of paint, but like we were both open to getting to know each other because what she's told me about the necklace, because she likes these kinds of necklaces or like things that look a bit tribal or things that like she likes chokers in particular, and she was like beyond the necklace, it's like there's a curiosity there. What kind of person wears those neck? Like she wants to know the kind of person I was, because what kind of person wears those kind like that kind of jewelry? So it was like the necklace is what drew her in, but like us having a conversation was her wanting to know who I was as a person. And then she found out that I'm a traveler, explorer, and all that. And then I found out more about her. But it's like curiosity was there on both ends, and we both came to the conclusion that is what a lot of people in life, I feel right now at this crucial point in time, we're lacking that curiosity for authentic human to human connection. You know, we're so busy with technology and the growing of AI, like we're becoming integrated, which that's on purpose, but we're going to skip that. That we're forgetting that we need these social interactions and human to human connections, because we pass along information to each other, and sometimes you don't even know that you need the information, right? Oh, the little kids zoom by, okay? It's like, don't run my toe over. But yeah, so we got to talking about that, and it was just a we had literally like a 2 hour conversation. Like her client came and went. It was a very short meeting that they had or whatever, and I was still like, eating my muffin and drinking my coffee or whatever. And then by the time I was done, they were wrapping up, and then we got back into our conversation, and it was absolutely amazing because she was meeting another friend or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to share some of the like basically what she shared with me that really stuck with me. And the first story was how she met an older man. It was an accident. There was like a car accident or whatever, and the old man, wanted to pay for the damages that he caused, pardon me, to her car or whatever. And it was so unsuspecting to her that she was introduced to his family and all that, and like they became like not close, but like they basically like he invited her to like his birthday with his family and all that or whatever. But he gave her like some advice because he was like about 80 years old or something. I'm sorry if I'm trying to remember everything word for word because I didn't write everything down, but like this just happened a few hours ago. So it's still pretty fresh, but like I'm sorry if I'm getting jumbled with words. But this is very important because she shared something that was very like profound, at least for me. And she said what he told her was, if you're lucky, you will make it to my age at 80. If you're even more lucky, then you will make it to this age with everything intact mentally. Like you won't have Alzheimer's, and you'll be able to remember who you are in your life and all that good stuff. But the worst thing, the absolute worst thing that could happen is if you make it to his age, which was 80, and you make it to his age with everything intact, remembering who you are, remembering your life, and you look back on your life and you didn't do anything that you wanted to do, you don't like how you spent your time, you don't like you don't basically you look back because she was like, when you're that age, you don't have anything but time to reflect. That's really like a time of reflection because you're coming to the end of your life. But the overall message was the worst thing that could happen to someone is for them to make it to that age with everything intact, and they look back on their life and they're like, I've done nothing. Like I didn't do anything that I wanted to do. I didn't spend time doing anything that I like. Like I spent time in a relationship that I absolutely hated. I spent time at a job that was horrible. Like I didn't do anything. Like I didn't make any memories. I didn't make any connections. Like I didn't really do anything. And In my head, I was like, that's pure torture. Like, that's torture because you have all that time to reflect. And it's like, you want to reflect on things that you enjoy doing. Like, and basically, the advice was, don't focus on things that went wrong. Don't focus on relationships that didn't work out. Things, no, like, focus your effort on creating what you want, creating, spending time with the people and doing the things that you absolutely love, that brings you the most joy, because that is what you're going to be looking at when you get that age. Like, you're going to be reflecting on all of that, and it's like the worst thing you could do is have everything intact and then look back and like, damn, I didn't do anything that I actually wanted to do. And she said that he was like, I did everything that I wanted to do, and I am super proud. And I think she said a few years after that, he passed away, right? And then the second thing that she shared with me, that I actually wrote it down. Hold on, I wrote it down because I was like, this was like an Oprah moment in a way. I was like, I have to write this down so I can remember. She was telling me a story about how she does it, because this woman Susanna, she is she's older than me. Okay, she is in her early 50s, and she mentioned to me how, like, she basically embraced getting older. Like, she loves it, and she mentioned to me that some of her friends, because she decided to let her gray hairs come in or whatever. And she is a when I say this woman is stunning, she is stunning. Oh, hold on, let me help these people. Give me 1 second. Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, y'all. They're playing tennis, and the ball came over the gate, so I just threw it back over. Anyways, oops. I was saying she is a stunning woman. Okay, be like beautiful. Um, oh, I thought he knocked it over again. I was like, I ain't getting up this time now. Okay, one and done. No, but no, she was stunning, and like, she just had a very like warm, vibrant spirit about her. But as I said, she like embraced the aging process, and she started to let her hair, her gray hair grow in, and she said like her friends who were her age as well, like they felt some type of way, okay, to make a long story short, and they didn't really agree with her allowing her gray hair to come in or whatever, because our society is obsessed with staying young or whatever. And what she said, that shit hit me to the core, because she said most of us have a fear of evolving. We have a fear of like changing. And she said, I'm not afraid of evolving. I am honoring who I am becoming. I said, you're going to have to repeat that again. And I took out my pen and I wrote it down. I was like, can I write that down? She was like, sure. She said, I am not afraid of evolving. I am honoring who I am becoming. Now, what I took from that is we all approach different points in life where we have transitional periods, and most of us want to hang on. Like, for example, I took it as her friends wanting to hang on to their youth for as long as possible because they see that as beauty, being conditioned and programmed that way. I don't feel like I'm not faulting her friends for it because I can understand, and she understood the mentality as well, but she doesn't, and she didn't subscribe to that. Right. And she was like, when she said, I'm honoring who I'm becoming, I feel like we all have become a certain version, and some of us are allowing ourselves to be that version, and some of us are not. And those who are not allowing themselves to become the version that they truly have become, a lot of times they have a problem or an issue with those who do. Like, who accept the evolution, who accept the change, right? And they try to project their, let's say, beliefs or their insecurities onto those who do. Now, it wasn't until after the fact, until I really sat and thought about that. But in the moment, I was like, that is such a wonderful thing, because I started to reflect on my life, and I was like, honoring what I like now, honoring how I think now, honoring how I believe now, instead of holding on to the beliefs and the things that I was brought up with, and all of these, basically holding on like to the past instead of allowing myself to evolve naturally to who I've naturally become just through life experience, because life has a way of shaping us, I feel. And I feel like most of us want to hang on to how we were shaped initially, but it's like life molds us into a version that I feel we are meant to become. And I feel like the more we accept it, the more graceful the change is, because this lady, when I tell you, smoothest skin I've ever seen. Okay, like she did not look her age. Like she looked, if I were to guess her age, she looked like she could be in her early 40s. I would give her like 42, 43 max. This lady is almost in her mid 50s. You hear me? And her energy is so warm, it's so youthful, it's so young, and I just feel like it's because she's embraced the evolution, the transition, and she's embraced who she's becoming. She's embracing the aging process, the life process, because it's part of life, right? No flower stays the same. Like you can preserve it for as long as you want, but at some point it's gonna, the flower has to come to its decline. And I feel like if you accept it, it's just like honoring each phase. Like that's what I really got from it. Okay, I really wanted to share that because I feel like that could real that like I definitely want to look back on this and look at like that and see exactly like what she meant, because I do understand it now, but I feel like as life goes on, it will take on a whole another meaning, But right now, like that really stuck with me, and I really wanted to share that with y'all. Okay, so and hopefully that like stuck with someone as well, or sticks with someone as well. All right, so let me get back on track because I kind of went off. This encounter really sparked this entire thing. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so the question that I wanted you guys to ask yourself is, I want you to look back on your life, right? And I want you to start to connect certain dots. Think about a time when you were going through something, or just a time when you were going through change, or just the people that you met, and what era or phase were you in when you met these people, right? Or when certain events happen. Because sometimes it's just events, but in this case, I'm talking about people. So think about how certain people may have helped you through certain transitions, or they may have passed along vital information that changed your life forever. Like, what were the turning points? And I want you to think about, was that random or was it predestined? Could it have been a fated meeting that you were supposed to have to put you on the track and to put you where you are today, or at least to guide you in the direction in which you went or that you are in today? So really sit back and think about that, because I feel like you may be surprised and there may be some like unexpected connections that you may make, and you may have some like aha moments like, wait, yeah, and then this happened, and then I met this person, then I got invited here, then I met like the synchronicities start to add up. Like you, like it's so random or so unrelated, but it actually got you to where you needed to be. You see what I'm saying? So there were, I'm pretty sure there's some pivotal moments that you can look at in your life, and you're like, wait, this happened and then this happened, and then I met this person, and then we went here, or and then this, whatever. Like you just make the dots, however it is in your life or whatever, okay, to get you to where you are now. It's like the perfect unfolding, right? And I feel like I'm rambling right now, but I feel like it's going to come together how it's supposed to come together. Okay, so um, what else did I want to say? I think those are my final thoughts. I just really wanted to share like the faded meetings in that story, because I think my final thoughts is just going to be the opening messages about being open, because it literally started with a simple conversation with a genuine compliment. And I really want everyone just to be more open to just like strangers, and don't be like fearful of other people, because it's like you can make some of the most unsuspecting relationships or connections, that you wouldn't have if you just like went on about your day, or if you just never gave that person a compliment. Because some people like they like something that you're wearing, but they won't dare say anything. Like they'll just be like, oh, like in their mind, oh, that smells good, or oh, they look good, but they just go on about their day and they don't say anything. Little did you know, if you had stopped and told that person, yo, I really like your sweater, you know, like where'd you get it from or whatever. Y'all have a whole conversation. You come to find out y'all have something in common. Then y'all exchange contacts. You may have just made a friend for life, and you didn't even know that. It's just because you said, I really like your outfit or whatever. Where'd you get it from? Oh, I got it from Zara. I got it from H&M. Oh my God, really? Like I go there all the time. Yeah, they have a sale going on. Blah blah blah. Oh, I'm planning on going there. And like those events happen, and then you like exchange contact information. You meet up, and then all of a sudden you really like their vibe. They like your vibe. You meet up for dinner. You get to know each other, and then little do you know, you guys start hanging out, and you meet a new friend, and then you meet like a whole new social circle. You get introduced to new hobbies, and like your life takes a whole new trajectory. Shit like that really does happen, you know. But it's like if you're not open to the initial, let's say, we can say discomfort, because you know when you first meet someone, you're kind of just like you're feeling them out and they're feeling you out. It's kind of like that trial test. But like if you keep going and you get past that initial discomfort, I feel like you'll be surprised what you discover, you know. And in a world where I feel like we're promoting each for everyone to be afraid of each other. Like you can't trust your neighbor, you can't trust a good deed, you can't, like everyone wants something from you, because in this world everyone's trying to sell you something, right? At least where I'm from, okay, in the US, you know, everyone feels like, okay, what do you want? You you like my outfit, what are you trying to sell me? You like this, what do you want? Like it's always, what do you want from me? And it's like a lot of times, nothing. I just want to, like, what if what I want from you is just to get to know you? Get to know what kind of person you are. Like, would you allow me to? Because a lot of times it's like why would I want you to get to know me? Well, why not? Aren't we human? I'm human and you're human. And last time I checked, humans are social creatures and we're meant to connect. And if I want to at least attempt to connect with you, I want to get to know you a little bit, which means you're going to have to be somewhat open with me, and I'm going to have to be somewhat open with you to connect genuinely. So why not? But there's that fear of like being taken advantage of, and this, but there's like so much, like there's so much chatter and there's so much fear that comes with that, that has been programmed, you know, through movies and all these things, that you can't trust people because you don't know what their motives are or their intentions. And I agree, sometimes you just don't know what people's intentions are, but a lot of times you can have, oh, look at all the birds, I wish y'all could see it right now. I want to just say there are people who really have pure, genuine intentions, but you won't know unless you're open to it. And yes, there are people that don't have the best intentions, but it's like that's kind of like the risk of life, you know? It's the risk of life. And I feel like no one can really take you to a point where you won't be able to like trust yourself again, or you won't be able to like come back or like rise again from, let's say, a betrayal or anything. Like you can definitely do that, but if you allow, let's say, something that happened in the past that closed you down, that made you feel like you can't trust people, if you allow that to take over your life and prevent you from making new, true, authentic connections, then you are missing out on a lot of life, on a lot of experiences that could lead to things that you wouldn't even you couldn't have dreamt of. You know, it could literally like propel you into a completely new reality. Now that may sound childish, like that may sound like child's talk or fairy tales or la la, but I'm just speaking from my own experience. My own experience throughout my traveling in general, my willingness to just talk to people, to connect, has landed me in positions that I've never would have been in ever. Like getting invited on, like getting on, like for example, getting invited on yachts in Mexico or whatever, or like going like having dinner at like a local family's house, whatever, like so many different stories that I can bring up or whatever. It wouldn't have happened if I wasn't open to the experience, if I wasn't open to connecting. And in order to connect, you have to be willing to give a little of yourself, and the other person has to be willing to give a little of them as well. I'm not saying give your whole life, no, but like at least be open to like genuinely try to make a connection. And if you vibe, cool, and if you don't, that's cool too. You're not going to vibe with everyone, but the fact that you're trying, I feel like that opens the door for real, new, authentic connections to happen because you at least have the willingness. And I feel like people can feel the willingness because you can feel when someone has their walls up or they're like guarded, and that's a turn off for most people. For some people, it's like, I accept the challenge. But most times, if you see someone trying to pry, it's like, you're a creep, stay away from me. But most people, they're not even going to they're like, okay, you got your walls up, fine. I'm just going to go about my business and hopefully find someone that doesn't have their walls so, highly, built, right? So, and I get it, like we want to protect ourselves and all that, but the main message is, because I'm about to ramble into something else, the main message is be open, because you never know. Some of the meetings that you're meant to have, some of the fated meetings that you're meant to have, just requires you to be open and just to be willing to have a simple conversation. And sometimes it just starts with a simple hi, how are you? Or a genuine compliment like, wow, I really like that fragrance you're wearing. It smells really amazing. And like be willing to be genuinely interested in the person. Even if you're not drawn to the person at first, let's just say you're drawn to their clothes, you're drawn to their jewelry, you're just drawn to something about them. That alone feels like, at least it tells me that this is someone that you may want to connect with. Like something about, if someone's energy draws you in, be willing and be open to just see, what is it about this person that draws me in? Because I feel like it will uncover or it will lead you into very unsuspecting places that would really benefit you, that would truly benefit you in so many ways that you couldn't even imagine. Okay. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. I feel like I talked in circles. Okay. I'm not sure if most of what I said made sense. I'm pretty sure I didn't even stay on track, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, faded meetings. What do you guys think about faded meetings? And have you had faded meetings that change the entire trajectory of your life? Have you met a person that just like changed your entire life? And sometimes I know it sounds like it's for the bad. Like, yes, I met this person and my life became miserable. But sometimes it's like I met this person and yeah, my life literally changed for the better. Like seriously, But I feel like for better or for worse, it's kind of like you learn something valuable from the experience, right? But in this case, like it just feels very benign. It felt very benign, and yeah, I know that we're going to cross paths again, Susanna and I. But yeah, it was just this was a very interesting day. It literally made my entire day. Literally, it made my entire day. But yeah, so that is the topic of the week, faded meetings. And thank you so much for checking out Planet Expression. And just in case you forgot, okay, here is your reminder. You are divine, you're going to be just fine, and you're going to be right on time. And don't forget, if you want to become an expressionist or become a citizen of Planet Expression, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button and we will make it official. But until next time, take care and I will see you later. Bye.